So welcome back to the final Cross Duel video on the channel. This is of course the final day for Cross Duel. It is going out of service in a few moments time, so I thought before it does do that, we're going to go through and see what the game was about, what modes it had, what features were in it, what I liked, what I disliked. We'll do some pack openings, we'll share some opinions, right, and so we'll end the game off on a bit of a bang, I guess, I'm not too sure. So let's start off with the Tag Duel mode first of all. This is your main bread and butter PvE mode, single player. You go through different animes and you duel against different teams of players, right? So it's just there. It just kind of exists. You've got rewards between all the different modes, and I've not really been playing the game since Shutdown was announced because there's no real reason to, right? All the icons, all the sleeves, they're all available as PNGs. We have them already, so there's no real need to kind of go through this. The cool thing I think about Tag Duel was that, as well as the actual characters, is that when you unlock them and you kind of got through to their final level, you've got loot rewards, and so after a certain amount of XP, you would earn either gems or materials or skill materials, and this means if you really want to use a character right for a certain voice line for a certain ace monster, then you could do that and still earn rewards, right? And right now, like Duel Links, where if you use a character to the max level, you're kind of wasting your resources, right? Because you'd rather go to another character and use them for the gems, for the cards, etc. That was pretty cool. And the game is set up like Tag Force, right? In that you go through, you're unlocking these characters, you're gaining friendship levels with them, you're increasing that level, and in the events, you're going through the story, you're partnering with them, you're going through and being in a tournament with them and being in anime, and it feels like this game was supposed to be the modern version of a Tag Force, right? And that I think would have done quite well. But the big thing is that Duel Links exists, Master Duel exists, and a Tag Force game would be a third pillar in the games feeling so similar. And at least across Duel, right, you had the unique gameplay of the 4 different field zones, you had the 3D monsters, you had the skill mechanics to upgrade cards, right? So if you come to the cards option, you go to your monster customization, you've got your monsters, and you can upgrade them all with different skills. And so your ace monster in your deck can have 3 skills, everyone else can have 1. In PvE and Raid Duel, you can have 5 and everything, which is obviously where they're kind of making their money from. But in Ranked, really, you were going for these big ace monsters, you're upgrading them with their master skill, right, for Exodia, you win the duel after like 5 turns of having on the field, or if like Blue Eyes or Dragon, when you summon it, you get to pop a card on the field, which is pretty good, and sword play up until the end of the game. But that's kind of where the game started to fall apart really, because this game was treated more like a gacha hero collector rather than a card game, and I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh! In this way lends itself well to doing that, right? In a gacha game, you're unlocking characters, upgrading those characters, and then kind of using them for PvE, and not really PvP stuff, right? It always felt a bit weird, right? Then, of course, you've got the Raid Duels, this is your other PvE mode, but it's 4-player co-op, you're going in, you're facing against a big boss monster, and by default, you had all the monarchs, right? And once a month we got these, even though we're meant to get 2 a month. It said it in the beta, in the full release, if you go to the question mark at the top, and you have a look, it says we get 2 a month, we didn't, and these were cool for the first kind of day they released. And when reruns came around, no one really cared, even though there were rewards in the community reward track, right? So there was a reason every season to go through and do them, but they weren't very engaging. The engaging ones were the event ones where you had, of course, cosmetics and sleeves and that stuff to kind of unlock. And so those ones like Blue Eyes My Dragon, or the Kokobakapoo, or your Magnum Overlord, or your Game Public Gym Grinder, they all had like unique mechanics that made them way more fun than these ones were, and the reward structure was better, and so you could earn like different ultimate materials, which made you upgrade your raid boss cards. Like, it was just a complete like mess of a balancing that made this mode not feel great to play. And also, you had to play with other people. A random mostly, meaning you could come up with teams of people that had like really suboptimal decks, even early levels, right? And you would struggle. And if you weren't joined up with people that know how to play, then you also had the chance of just joining in a game of complete bots. And so that's what happened when no one was playing the events, no one was playing the raid duel bosses. You'd have a team of bots, and these bots could either be really good, or they could be completely dreadful and completely destroy your run on the final turn, making you waste 15-20 minutes potentially, and have nothing to show for it. But the other thing is that if you had your Neos here, or Stardust Dragon, or Black Rose Dragon, then you were good for pretty much all of the Red Duel content that ever existed so far. Like those 3 cards, if you had those 3 skills, then there was no real need to actually go and invest in more raid cards. It made the events feel kind of samey because the strategy was kind of the same, you'd win in the same way. The big thing though was ranked duels, the main mode, 4-player mode, you're facing each other, you're going through, you're ranking up into Platinum, and you're getting gem rewards in the season. You've got these battle rewards, which are really cool, right? So after every duel, you get points towards a chest, and then you get some gems or some items. I wish this system was in Duel Links, in Master Duel. It's so much better than the systems in play in those games, and so I hope that if we get a rework for Duel Links, right, for Rush Duel mode, then they do something like this, but I kind of doubt it. Every day if you played a duel, you can double your points 3 times, which could be cheesed by just closing out the game, and then you were kind of good and you could do them again. And in this mode, there's some exclusive cards in the middle of the duel. If you actually get to the middle of the map, then you can either get like a Mirror Force, or a Monster Reborn, or a Ring Destruction, and those can turn the tide of a duel in big ways. And it was kind of interesting, and over time we got some new cards, right? 2 of them I think, like in December I think it was, so a couple months in, we got 2 new cards, and yeah, it was cool. Yeah, ranked I think obviously was the main mode. I enjoyed this game quite a lot, especially with my boy Firewall. This deck was so fun, right? You've got your Imperial Order, which can lock down any spell cards, so what you would do is you kind of stall out for your turns. You'd have one body going in, like say the Aria, going to opponent's life points. You would then of course go into the Firewall Dragon, you bounce the card back to the hand, you've got your Imperial Order to make so spell cards can't be activated, and then of course you've got your Shield and Sword in case you do get stuck, because someone will have Shield and Sword in that exact moment for your Firewall. It always happens, happened to me so many times. It was so annoying, but this deck is so much fun. And it's a bit weird, right? Looking at this and going, oh look, you've got Battle Dragon as a Guardian, it can burn every turn randomly. You've got your Aria, which slows down the opponent's monster when it's summoned, which is really big for that turn 1 play, for going for the center zone, because most people will have like an Econ or something to turn on cards to defense mode, and then you can kind of clear up with the monster. It was just a fun game, you know, and I know people are not going to like think that because they didn't play it, right? You've got Seven's Road deck, right, which is Inventor, which gave you more skills at random, which kind of worked with how that card worked in the anime. So, and it's cool, we got Seven's cards in a game before Duel Links is getting it, right? This game had Seven's characters and Vrain's characters before Duel Links. It was something new, something unique, and that's where the game kind of didn't jive for most players, right? And especially the core audience, right? The core UV audience. They didn't really connect with this game where you have vanilla ace monsters, you've got to upgrade them with skills, and it kind of seems like it's paywalled, and it kind of was for the first couple of months, because in the card gacha, there was no way, as a free player, to access this paid pity down the bottom here, this bonus gauge. In all of these banners, it didn't exist until like December, I think it was, or November. So a good couple of months after launch, right, when you've got to make your best impression, your impression was, this game is not free-to-play friendly, bad sign, this game is buggy, the game had the same bugs it had from the closed beta a year prior, which was really annoying. The login bonus missions were originally a slot machine, right, and so that was a random amount, so some players could be 5,000 gems better off every single month just from getting lucky on the login, which is a bit weird. So they changed it to this new system, which is really good, right? You've got your gem rewards, you've got a ticket in the month, you've got some items as well to upgrade your cards, right? It was a much better experience, the average player got more gems, and that came in November again, and was just kind of late to the party. And that's kind of it. Konami was very late to the party with making changes to the game. They eventually increased the gem rewards, right, for events because they were like lacking on content and also not great in terms of rewards. They changed it, that was good, but still, the game was boring because the events are the same. You had a single player event and a raid event. Some months we had a single player event last the entire month for no reason. That was a really weird time to have playing the game. There was no variance in how they did the events, right? They were all the same. There was no PvP tag duel events, which kind of you think would be like the core part of this game and be something unique, but no. You couldn't even do them in duel rooms. It was just baffling at how mismanaged this game was, and we know the content we were getting for next year was going to be like the same, right? We know what cards we were getting, what events we were getting for raid events. We know we're getting a Paradox Brothers raid event, a Row event for Sevens, and a Kira 1 with Tindangles for Vrains. We were getting a Ragey 1 deck clone with DDDs, for Arc 5. We were getting a Slifer event at some point, probably for the first anniversary. Like, there's so much we won't see of this game, and that's kind of a disappointing thing, right? So they could have done for the last 6 months, given us some more content to play, you know? If we're already not going to be spending money, right? At least put the content that you've already got done. We know they're done, right? Know the mods are done, know the characters are done. All that's in the game file, just kind of like sitting there like in code, waiting to happen. And so, just this game I thought was really fun, but it was a bit of a mess. It was a bit of a mess on Konami's part in terms of how organized it was. Promotion was awful, right? They eventually stopped doing trailers for the game. There was no communication. There was never any surveys in game, right? For feedback, there was never any surveys. You could, of course, go to the settings, right? Somewhere in here, and go and find the contact, right? But that's not the same as in Duel Links and Master Duel, where we get a survey asking, what do you think of this feature, and this event, and these cards, right? A good thing as well they did, I'm all over the place, right, is balancing. Nearly every month we got a big balance update that changed the skills of the cards we got in the game, some spell and trap card effects, and overall, they were good changes, right? There was no nerfs, right? We never got to that point, despite the game being infected with months and months of Kokopakapu burn and Abyss Actor burn, right? DM burn, right? With pendulums. That was a really cheesy deck. If I've got some gameplay on screen, I'll kind of show it now. It's just a real mixed bag, and of course, the good thing about this game was the icons and accessories, right? Everyone on Twitter loves these icons. They go crazy for them, right? The Blue Eyes Armor Dragon one went insane. The Black Rose one did really well. Of course, you've got like Yami Rulan, you've got the Galaxy Eyes, and there's also like, the Stardust Waifu in the shop, and there's all these other ones, right? And I hope they do something with this, right? I hope this isn't the end of this content from Crossdoor, right? If we see this in other games, right, put this in Duel Links. That is the perfect place for something like this to be a thing, and to actually like make sense. So I hope they do. I don't think they will. There's a slim chance we see Crossdoor come back as some kind of like Apple Arcade exclusive because Castlevania did, and that's Copium. But yeah, you know what? Let's end this off with a pack opening. We're just going to speedrun through this, right, and see what we get right out of this one, Expert Gacha Volume 7. So let's see, we have got no Ultra Rare cards. We're going to see how bad the rates are, because that was a big thing as well. The rates on this game were not very good. And our next pack, we've got a Blue Eyes White Dragon, probably my 5th copy. Not what you want to see, come on, and that was it. You know, that wouldn't have been a bad pull, right? Early on in the game, getting a Blue Eyes, that's insane. But that was with the bonus UR gauge, and so that wouldn't have been a thing. You know, way back at the start of the game, that wouldn't have been a thing. So you wouldn't have got that. And again, another pull, no you are. And we've then got more no SR in that one. We've got this one, we've got, again, the same SR Rocket Warrior. Might be on rate up though, so that might be why that's happening. I'm not too sure. And again, we've now got 3 SRs, not too bad, but again, no URs. And of course, remember, we've still got that UR bonus gauge that's actually going to be impacting us. Here we go again. We've got Black Rose Dragon, a card that took me forever to get. Back in the day, back when I really wanted to play it. I didn't get it until, like, I believe until they started giving out the free bonus URs, right? The free bonus temples every day for the past 6 months, which you'll see. From these, I still haven't pulled every card in the game. And we've got nothing again. And there's also Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. I believe this might be, that is my first copy. This card has existed in the game since, I believe, January or February. No, it's March, right? It was March, the last event, right? So March, and I've been, like, logging in most days, getting my free temples, and it took me this long to pull this card. On the banner, it's a rate up in. And that is one of the big things across Duel. Its gacha was no. Of course, you had crafting, which was good, but you had to have duplicates of cards to craft, and so it wasn't like Master Duel, where you could, dismantle any card you want, and 3 URs made another UR, right? It's not like that. It's 4 duplicate URs, make a UR. It was expensive, but it's a hero collector, right? So it kind of made sense. It followed on normal gacha trends, but releasing after Master Duel, I think also made it so that anyone was kind of like negatively receptive to a system that was so much more inferior than Master Duel's was. And this one again, we've got 1 SR, and we've got another SR again. And we've also got another SR only, so you just seeing it, right? And back in the early days of the game, SRs were more important than URs. They were harder to pull because the pull was like bigger, and you needed multiple SRs to actually make some of the decks work, right? So Inventor, Seven's Road, Firewall Dragon, they needed certain SRs to even play the deck, otherwise you just like didn't bother because you're playing this super inefficient deck on ladder, and it would feel so bad despite the game being like this party game. And of course now we're talking about it, we're guaranteed UR, we've got Roman on screen, come on, give me one I've not got yet, please. Let's see, we've got nothing in here, of course, and in the back half, it is another Black Rose Dragon, of course. And then we've got another, yeah, okay, and our final pull of Cross Duel. Let's see, we've got no SR, no UR. And so after playing Cross Duel for a year, of getting, 6 months of daily free pulls, of getting a bunch of gems, right? Where am I on my account? What do we not have? We have not pulled a single copy of the Cyber Blader, of the Blue Eyes Ultima Dragon. We've not pulled a single copy of the Great Moth, or the meta staple, Earthbound Immortal Kokopakapu. Kinda glad about, because fuck this card, honestly. It's such a non-fun card to play against. And yeah, in terms of like SRs, I think we've also probably been missing some, right? Rose Fairy, yep. And then like rares, normals, I assume we have everything. I'd be kind of shocked if we didn't. We do. Of course, some spells are missing, right? Wind Chalice, Wind Lance, a bunch of traps from the first 2 boxes. Like, again, even more skill drain. I forgot that was even in the game. How does that work, actually? Apply negation to the immunity skills. Okay, that works, right? 1 turn negation, that's fine. And so yeah, that is it. That is Cross Duel. The game should be ending service in a few moments, so let's pour one out for our Fallen Cross Duel. I'll see you all in a few. And so here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. There we go. Cross Duel, end of service. Thank you for playing Cross Duel. The game service has ended as of 5 AM UTC on Monday, September 4th. Thank you very much for your long-time support. If only Konami gave the game the same amount of support as we did as a community, that'd be great. Yeah, I guess final words. Rest in peace, Crostal. You know, like farewell. Thank you to everyone that's kind of following on the Crostal content, right? It didn't do super well, but I still want to kind of cover the game over the various events and campaigns and updates and see if they made the game better, which they did, but not enough, clearly. And of course, thank you to everyone that actually joined the Crostal Discord and looked at crostalmeta.com. That was mainly me kind of doing stuff on that side, right? Doing the articles, right? And getting decks submitted, that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope it was useful, and I hope Konami kind of learned from this experience that to actually release a mobile game that's different, you've got to support it. And please do not do this again. Rest in peace, Crostal. Rest in peace.